Hello everybody and welcome to another Holy How To. Today I'm going to do something a little unusual. This video is actually a video that I shot while I was testing the concept of whether or not I ever even wanted to start this channel. So what I did was I did some basic audio recordings of me doing some hobby stuff and video recordings of me doing hobby stuff. I guess you could say it was kind of an audition to see if I could do this stuff. So the recording you're about to see is a video of me demonstrating how I do my green stuff cloaks. It's a little raw. My hands are kind of beat up. You'll notice it was after a holy event and my hands got all tore up from moving the tables around. So I apologize for my gross fingers and hands all being beat up in the shot. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find it useful. If you do, please leave a comment below. Please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out. Here it is. Hi, welcome to the Hangout. Today, what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to show you how I make my cloaks, green stuff cloaks. The example here is what I've done for my Hallowed Doom Knights, and I'm going to show you how I do that. So today's model for my Hallowed Doom Knight army, I am now working on my Gryph-hounds. So I have 12 of these I need to do. I've already done the hoods on here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I do the cloaks. Now, I'm not entirely sure how this shape is going to, how these are going to turn out, but we'll see how it goes. So I usually do about a 1/4 inch ball of blue to yellow. If you mix in more blue, you'll get a harder resin. I typically do equal amounts. Just what I prefer to do. Okay, so once I get it mixed. Some people have asked me in the past, how do I let it set up before I start working with it? Because it can be pretty sticky, and it can create, you can get fingerprints in it, and it can be difficult to work with. I don't wait for it to set. I will typically start working with it right away. So for my cloaks, I typically start to shape it as you see here. I kind of find where I might want the corners. I kind of flatten it out and start pre-shading it, shaping it. Now, it's kind of gross, but spit seems to be the best lubricant for this. I have used petroleum jelly and stuff, but I don't really prefer it. So now what I do is I start placing it onto the model, as you can see here. Get a rough shape, and then I start placing it down. And then what I do is I find contact points on the model and I start to stretch and pull the model. Now the tools that I use are these clay shapers. You can find silicone clay shapers at just about any art supply store. I prefer using the ones that I found at Blick Art Supplies, and they run about $30 for a set of 5. The main tools you'll need to do this project effectively are going to be the clay shapers that are extra firm. I find those work best than the super softs. I don't like having a lot of give in the shaper. There's already give, as you can see. As I'm pushing it, the tip is bending, and it creates a bit of a an issue. Wherever there's fingerprints, I will smooth those out by using the cup tool, and that has like a little cup indentation on it, which is kind of difficult to see here at this camera angle. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change this up a little bit, and we're going to zoom in. So bear with me a little bit here as I zoom us in, and I adjust our focus here. Let's see, why is this not working? Let's try this again. I'm not entirely sure why I'm having issues, but well, here, let's do this. Let's get this focused on the model here. Here we go. A little bit better. And this is the cup. So you can see it's got a little cup edge to it. Okay. There we go. It's a little better. So one of the things that I've learned over the course of time of doing this is pushing and pulling. It's pushing and pulling the green stuff until you get it into a shape and a form that you like. Now there is the possibility of overworking the green stuff to the point where you either work it to a point where it's too thin, or it becomes almost too pliable. But the good thing is once you let it set, you can come back over it and you can put more on top. So what I'm trying to do here is create motion and movement with the cloak. One of the things I like to do is that once I've developed those points of the anchor points on the model, which are in this case his shoulder pads, I then start to shape the cloth. Okay. Now cloth has a natural billow to it. It has a natural movement and flow, and it wouldn't be stiff, right? So I've just never really been a fan of stiff capes on models before. So I like to try to create movement in mine, lots of motion and fluidity in my capes when I do this. And I also like to give it the natural feeling of the way it would lay on the model. Now once I get the generic shape down, what I'll then do is I take this tool here, which is the chisel. Okay, this is the actual flat chisel. It's flat on both sides. This one works really well for pushing and creating the hard edge of the cape, so you have more of that, a more natural look, and it helps to create sharp corners as well. And just by working it back and forth a little bit at a time, you can create a sharper corner. Okay. I also enjoy this tool. Works really well for creating creases and indentations. And so like right in here, you can see that here's the saddle, and so I pushed it and have it kind of resting up against the saddle, so that the chisel will help me to find the shape so that the cloak starts to take on the contour and the shape of the saddle, or in this case his little ammo pack there, right? So you can push that up that way. Okay, just like that. All right, now I have some fingerprints in here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cup tool, and then I'm going to start smoothing out some of these fingerprints that show up from time to time. Sometimes you get them in there, sometimes it's unavoidable. Okay. Now up in here, I'm not a real fan of how this is folding over, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep pushing and pulling the resin into the, or I should say the green stuff, into the gaps here. Okay. And then what I'm doing is I take this, once again, this is the this one here is the point tool, and I'm just kind of pushing it into there to make it look like it's connected to the hood. Okay. And then I want to get a little bit of a billow in here to create some depth. Okay, some more movement, some more motion. All right. And I'm going to wet my fingers a little bit, and I'm going to twist and pull and create a billow effect so that the wind is coming through. Once again, switching back to my cup tool, right? I'm going to take the back side of the cup now and start pulling it out a little bit. And I'm not going to go too far, because then what will happen is you'll affect the shape on the other side. So let's just start smoothing that out a little bit, getting it to be the way, something that you like, right? This is all about what you like. There is no right, there is no wrong. It's whatever you like and whatever you think looks cool. Rule of cool definitely applies here. And this cup tool, I'll flip it around and I'll get inside here, create me of a billow. Now, it's good this has happened. There's a little spot here where I'm going to take the chisel tool. And what the chisel tool will do is it'll help me to move some of this resin off of the armor plate because I don't like the way that's laying in there. And I can push that to a thin point so that I can see the armor underneath. Now the armor's showing again. And then smooth that out a little bit. And then we're gonna keep smoothing, get out some of these creases. Yeah, put in some lines here. There we go. And then what I like to do is I like to create a little bit more of a crease. So like where I see, if I see a situation where the resin, I keep calling it resin, if I see a situation where the green stuff starts to crease oddly, I'll keep working it back and forth until I get it to a point where I feel like, yeah, that's the shape I want. Now I'm going to try to bring up this area here to create, there we go, yeah, I like that better. And then to create the crease here, a better fold down. Now I'm going to switch back to the fine point, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part here, okay, so the wider part, and I'm going to be sliding it in like this. And all this is going to do is help to smooth out some of the creases that are forming, some of the lines that are forming inside there, the stretch marks, if you will, of the resin. Okay, so now I have a decision. I have a nice contact point right here, okay, and right underneath there, okay. And I think I like the way this is looking. So now I'm just going to go back in here and I'm going to smooth out these odd divots that are happening. Sometimes what happens is you get these points of the green stuff that don't, the underlying model will wind up sometimes affecting how the green stuff sculpts. And then there we go. So this one's going to require some more. This is the first step, okay, and I'm going to come back once this sets up tomorrow. I will come back and add more up here around the neck to finish it off. I want to add some more. I want to kind of connect it to the face here, not the face, excuse me, the hood. So it kind of comes down and then is underneath the armor there. But I really do like the way this is looking. I feel that it creates better, fits in more with my other cloaks that I've done. I think what I want to do is create a little bit more of a gap here so there's more fluid motion to this cloak. You can see here that it took on the patterning of what was on the saddle. The sleeve looks like a sleeping bag or some kind of saddle bag. So I'm going to bring this back down a little bit and go like that. There we go. Yeah, I like that better. One of the things that I've enjoyed about my Doom Knights is that the capes are not static. They have lots of motion to them, and it brings I feel like it brings the models alive and adds some. I think it adds a lot, and yeah. So that's the first of 12. 1 of 12 done. So there we go.